$1,000 Death Star, Clone Wars MTT, move over. Because in this video, we have what might actually be the greatest LEGO Star Wars rumor, not only for 2025, but in the history of LEGO Star Wars rumors. I kid, mostly. Apparently, in the summer of 2025, so probably August 1st, we are going to be getting a UTAT. Now, this rumor has been brewing for a few days. I've seen a few different posts about it, and it hadn't really gained any traction until today when a bunch more reputable sources, I would say, started reporting on it too with some actual information. And so, as with all rumor videos, this is, of course, a rumor, and if it doesn't come true, it doesn't come true. That's why it's called a rumor and not a confirmed set release. But I like to talk about them as if they are because it's more fun that way. So with that being said, apparently the set number for this one is set 75413. The piece count and the price of the set, though, might be getting more talk than just how hype it is to actually finally get a UTAT, hopefully with Galactic Marines, Commander Baccara, and Ki-Adi-Mundi. We'll talk more about that in a second. But the piece count is rumored to be 813, and the price, a startling $150. And that has caused some people to outright call this rumor a farce, that it's a complete sham and it's completely untrue, and it must be fake because how could LEGO price something like that? Well, I have a good example for people. You might not want to believe me, but it's been worse, actually. So... it didn't break. This here is the 2010 AT-AT Walker set, and it was $110 when it released with a piece count of 815. So 2 more pieces than what's rumored to be on the 2025 UT-AT. And the inflation price on this one, in today's money, $160. So to say that LEGO wouldn't do that, or that it's outrageously expensive compared to anything we've ever had before, just straight up isn't true, because here's a perfect example of that, and I think this is a really good set. But I feel like this set is a great example of both the fact that LEGO can and will price a UTAT like this, but also that the model could actually be good, because I consider this at 815 pieces to be a very good AT-AT, because when I saw the piece count, I was a bit worried, and then I was thinking what's been in this area before the AT-AT came to mind, and so there's a chance it could actually be a very good build at the given piece count. So I just want to keep that in play, because I am still worried, because 813 pieces is not a lot for a UTAT, because by comparison, you've got the Republic gunship and the ATTE are kind of the most recent larger Republic vehicles, and those are over 1,000 pieces each, so seeing it so low definitely scares you. Another concern I've seen out there that I'd like to put to rest is that LEGO would just never make the UTAT because it's too obscure, it only had 8 seconds of screen time or whatever. But that's just not the case. They make plenty of obscure stuff all of the time, some of which has never appeared in any Star Wars like movie media. And so there's no reason to believe that something that was actually in a movie couldn't be made. Also, there's a prototype. Basically, in like 2008, 9, or 10, they clearly at some point decided to try to make a UTAT, and for whatever reason, it didn't go through. And, you know, it looks nice, but it is a prototype. I was already planning on building it next year for the Revenge of the Sith anniversary, like I did with the Yavin 4 prototype. And now I'm even more hyped to build it, because if the real one comes out, it'll be super interesting to do a prototype versus like final UTAT model. By the way, this is just a custom one from Republic Bricks that I've reviewed on the channel before. You've probably seen the video. It has surprisingly 300,000 views or so. You would think for something so niche, why would people watch a video about it? But clearly it's quite popular. All of that being said, the rumor, of course, could still end up not being true. However, the couple of reasons that most people are saying it might not be true aren't actually good, valid reasons to think that, because there's just plentiful evidence to the contrary. Now, I want to talk about the minifigs, and if we look at the prototype version of this set, there were a couple of Clone Wars clone gunners on it, and maybe that's because it was supposed to be in the Clone Wars, and it would have had those gunners, but it was never in the Clone Wars, and maybe that's why the set originally got canned. You know, there's a litany of reasons that that could be the case, or those were just the figures that they had laying around that were clone troopers that they put on top of the UTAT. The point is, those are not the figures that I would expect in a final version of a UTAT for 2025. I think this fairly obviously has to include what the fans have been asking for forever. I mean, I've been on this for probably 6 years.
I think it would be amazing. It would be the first time we could get some Galactic Marines.
Every once in a while, I'm just like, man, Galactic Marines and UTAT would be cool, huh, LEGO? And finally, they thought, yeah, it would be cool. So I think fairly obviously, you have to get the big 3 here with Ki-Adi-Mundi first and foremost. We've had him a couple times before, but here I have the 2018 version of him, and I assume it would be a Ki-Adi-Mundi that looks pretty much about the same. Maybe they add in some footprinting or something, but there's very little I think you can do to a Ki-Adi-Mundi to make him much better. Commander Baccara, of course, would require a new and unique helmet mold, and wouldn't it be a better time than ever to bring back the waist capes instead of those stupid prints so that the figures can sit down according to the Lego designers. What a bad cop out that is to save some money. So I'm hoping that they'll actually be wise here and bring it back. It's not like you can't argue that a UTAT is being made for kids. Like, we all know that the only reason they would make a set like this is because adult fans and like teenage fans want it. All of the type of people that would watch a video like this that also want Lego clones to have waist capes. You can't argue. But they also did it on the UCS Venator, and they gave Captain Rex no waist cape. So, yeah, it's just going to suck, and they're not going to give him a waist cape. But I hope they do, and I'm going to keep saying that they should until they do. So, Commander Baccara, and then, of course, the Galactic Marine should also be included. Now, when it comes to the Galactic Marine figure, they, of course, should also get physical waist capes. And as for the helmet, that is something that a lot of people for a long time, myself included, always thought the Snowtrooper helmet would just be such a simple solution. How have they not made it? You just put red on the back of it. And I think the answer to that is that you can't really, or at least Lego can't, print on the back of a Snowtrooper helmet like that. It's just not made to do that. I actually think it probably needs a dual molded helmet, as crazy as that sounds, because it seems so simple, and it totally does, but I don't think it is for whatever reason. There's a ton of Lego helmets, and I'm not going to take the time to research them all right now. Maybe there is a good example of them doing something like really close to this in the past. Galactic Marines, because in Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, they opted to be, I guess, lazy and use shock troopers, have only ever made one appearance in Lego Star Wars form, and that was in the Nintendo DS port of the Clone Wars video game in like 2011. And so in the image, you can see they do use the Snowtrooper helmet. I just don't think the physical production of the product can be done the way it's done there. And so I think that we will end up seeing a newer helmet for this figure. I'm sure it will still look very similar to Snowtrooper helmets. It'll just have to be dual molded to get the red and the white to be separate the way that they should be. When it comes to the quantity of figures in this one, it's gonna be a bit of a point of contention for some people, especially when you're asking $150 for 813 pieces. I think people will look at that and hope that figures kind of make up some of that gap in value that they perceive, missing the 10 cent per piece mark. But when you look at this AT-AT from 2010, this one had 8 minifigures. 8! Really? That's a crazy amount. Like, Lego Star Wars doesn't usually include 8 in $160 sets nowadays. My bare minimum for the UT-AT in 2025, I think I said this in a recent video, would be Ki-Adi-Mundi, Commander Baccara, and 3 Galactic Marines. Coruscant Guard Gunship also had 5 minifigs, so it would make sense if this had 5. I don't think that that's the fair, correct value for your money that we should be getting. We should be getting like 5 Galactic Marines with Baccara and Ki-Adi-Mundi for $150, especially because it's the only set that might ever have Galactic Marines. I mean, this is a once in apparently 20 years since the movie came out, set. It would be nice if it didn't feel like they're trying to squeeze you for everything you're worth to get 3 Galactic Marines or 2 Galactic. If they include 2, it's going to be a dang shame. My final wish for this set is that on the box art, unlike on the ARC 170, they actually use that Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary logo. So I think I've covered anything and everything that I would want to talk about with the UT-AT 2025 set. I'm super hyped at the potential. Hopefully it is a rumor that ends up coming true. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section below, including what figures you expect or how many Galactic Marines could we get. I mean, the Fortnite Battle Bus had 9 figures for $100, but Star Wars is cheap and they always try to, it's not gonna have 9. See you later.